One of the clients that I had seen, she was 18 at the time, and she was estranged from her mom and was living with her boyfriend. And when she found out that she was pregnant, he immediately said, well, you need to have an abortion. This is how it is. And she had no one else to turn to. And she shared it with a family member who had given our number to go and talk to, and she came and talked to us, and we worked with her. She came, and I remember she said that nobody wanted to listen to her. And I said to her, well, I want to listen to you. I want to hear what you have to say, and it was such a relief for her, and she was able to share, her story and find some solutions, and was able to work with us and have a relationship again with her mom, and was able to go home and live with her mom then and give birth to a beautiful baby girl.
There was a teenage girl whose mother brought her into Lifeline because her mother wanted her to have an abortion. And her mother and I discussed why she felt that abortion was the only answer for her daughter, because she really did love her daughter and want the best for her daughter, and she felt that her daughter's life would never be the same and that she wouldn't be able to finish school. She was so determined that that girl was going to have an abortion. I spoke to the mother for over an hour, and finally her mother came around. But her father, the girl's father, wasn't there. They came back again a week later, and we talked all together, the whole family, for an hour. Finally, the father said that he would consent to allow his daughter to stay with them and raise the child. When they brought the baby in, and I got to hold the baby for the first time, I felt like I could hear singing in the room. That's how exciting it was to hold that baby for the first time.
She came to Genesis, she was 16, and she lived there, and she decided to place her baby for adoption. Okay, she was continuing her education, her programming, all those kind of things, but she did make an adoption plan and went on to finish high school, got a college education. She's married, she has 4 children, and she's a teacher. So she comes, and provides education for our girls. And she said, I could never give back as much as I got.
She arrived that night and she was pregnant, and both parents were alcoholic, and she did not feel she could bring a child into the home. But she also had 2 classmates with her who were pregnant, but the school didn't know about it yet. And one of the classmates had been thrown out of her home by her father because she refused an abortion. The third young woman was from a 2-parent stable family. Parents were heartbroken, but she was their child, and they were going to take care of her. I tried to refer the 3 young women to whatever resources I knew in the community, but I could tell they weren't buying it. And when we were parting, they said, couldn't we come back and talk some more? And that's how I got started. So we have been having weekly prenatal classes ever since.
A girl who was trying to improve her life. She had had many boyfriends in the past and had had several abortions. And she was finally in school to become a professional, and found herself pregnant and came to Lifeline for the first time. And as we spoke, she just stopped and started crying. And she said for the very first time in her life, she told me about her childhood sexual abuse. And I would say that getting that out in the open was such a big relief for her. We were able to refer her for counseling, and she saw her pregnancy through. She was so very grateful. And about a year later, she brought back her baby girl, and I got to hold the baby.
A policeman brought this young girl. She was living in this boxcar with her boyfriend, and they had nothing. And they brought her to Genesis because she was caught stealing food. Her parents were very abusive to her. She had nothing. She had 1 child before, and the baby died of SIDS. While she stayed at Genesis, we started addressing all these issues that was there. And how do you trust anyone if you can't trust your parents? I mean, they're the first that you trust. And she couldn't believe that anybody would take her in and do all this and love her.
I remember distinctly, I think third year of the program, our 188 Life Aid. It was the first year of our 188 Life Aid. Now this is a very unique, one-of-a-kind system at the time. Now everybody has sort of copied us. Where, look, we don't just give out a 1-800 number or a telephone number of a local center. We actually patch that client through. We bring her through the door to the counselor she's going to end up speaking to either later that day or the next. You'll never forget, it's towards the end of the day, and we get this 188 Life Aid call. It's got to be like 4:30, 4:45. We know our centers are going to be closing soon, and the counselor picks up the phone, and this is a woman whose boyfriend has dropped her off in a very, very bad part of Philadelphia. She calls and she says, I told my boyfriend I wouldn't have an abortion, and he kicked me out of the house and dropped me off in this section. This is a terrible section of Philadelphia, okay? I wouldn't want to be in this section of Philadelphia. And it's 4:45. We patch her through to one of our centers. I think it's St. Joseph's Catholic Home for Children in inner city Philadelphia. And within a half an hour, there was a counselor picking her up, bringing her to that maternity home. Now think about that. Think of the trauma that she just went through and where she ended up. She probably had a terrible fight with her boyfriend. She was being pressured unbelievably. She was being threatened clearly. He followed through on the threat and dropped her off in an unsafe area. He dropped his girlfriend and the mother of his child off in an unsafe area in inner city Philadelphia. And in a half an hour after calling 188 Life Aid, she was in a safe environment with other women who may have been in that situation, but certainly with caring counselors who loved her.
If you find out you're pregnant, okay, you're overwhelmed at that point, and you're coming to live in a residential program, they're coming to these people that they don't know us. They don't know what's going to happen, you know how we're going to treat them or whatever. And in a couple days, you can just see them like a flower. They just blossom, and that comes with trust.
She slept in a car with her 4-month-old baby for 2 days before this lady that didn't even know her took her in. And she found out about us through the YWCA, and she called us. And we were able to help her with baby items. We were able to help her with formula, food vouchers, clothing vouchers. And eventually she got a job, and she's been able to support herself. And she's just so grateful. And she still comes up to this day. The baby is 2 years old, and she still comes to Morning Star once in a while with her baby, Brandon. And she is just so grateful that we were there for her. It's like, what would I have done without the help Morning Star was able to give me? So it's awesome.